Are you drawn to the dark, the bizarre, and the unsettling? Are you ready to explore a story that blurs the lines between reality and psychosis? If so, then today's book just might be for you. Today, I'll be reviewing Bunny by Mona Awad. Welcome to Spencer Reads Everything. I'm your host, Spencer Duncan, and today we're taking a look at one of the strangest books that I read all year. It is unlike anything else that I've read this year, and I feel like I have taken on some pretty odd books this year. I would say, just to give you a quick synopsis, although it's kind of hard because I do not want to give away too much, but I will say on the surface, the book starts out, it's about this girl named Samantha, who is a very intelligent scholarship student at an elite MFA program somewhere in New England. They name her school, I'm pretty sure it's a fictionalized school. Oh boy, I'll feel stupid if it's not. But she is quickly entangled with a clique of wealthy, eccentric girls who call each other Bunny. That is at least one of the reasons where we get the title of the book from, although it is not the only reason that we have the name Bunny. And I will say, on top of that description of this wealthy elite group, you also have beneath the surface, the book is an exploration of a descent into madness, as well as an exploration of themes of identity and questions of creativity and just the cost of belonging to a group of people, a society, or just having a grasp of reality. The book actually starts out with an exploration of Samantha's disdain for this group of women who she considers them very shallow and somewhat absurd. And then, like I said, it soon turns very dark because she is going to be drawn into their bizarre rituals, which she doesn't understand the purpose of, and she doesn't really understand how this group of girls seems to have a hive mind mentality. And of course, there are quickly going to be some elements of magical surrealism and, quite frankly, some elements of horror. At the very least, violence and suspense, and I would probably characterize some of it as horror, although I was rarely scared. I was just more unsettled, which could be a perfectly fine description of a horror book, but I don't read enough horror to know for sure. And then on top of that, the story gets increasingly surreal as Samantha's grip on reality really starts to loosen and unravel, and we'll see it just kind of go from there. I think that's about as much of a synopsis as I can give you of the actual plot of the book, but I would say that there is a lot about the style of writing and what is being presented in terms of concepts of creativity, ideas of feeling like you belong. I do think there's certainly a lot more in there that you can appreciate beyond just the plot. I would say that the author's writing style perfectly mirrors Samantha's fractured mind. The prose, I would say, is it's very lush but also very disorienting as it's pulling you into her perspective. It's it's both intoxicating but also uncomfortable, making you question what's real and what's imagined. Well, at least in the storyline, I wouldn't say it's so good that it makes you actually question your own reality, but it certainly does give you some very suspenseful and tense and unsettling moments. I would say one of the major themes of Bunny is the tension between individuality and conformity. Samantha's desire to belong clashes with her fear of losing herself. And the bunny's world is in many ways very seductive, but it obviously comes at a cost, not just in terms of their weird rituals, but of the cost of other friendships or any sense of independence or any sense of individual identity. This book helps to delve into questions of the creative process, and it really shows how art and identity can be both transformative but also very destructive depending on your approach and who's being involved in the process. So who is this book for? Well, if you enjoy stories that are unsettling, experimental, and rich in metaphor, you'll find Bunny to be engrossing. It's perfect for fans of psychological thrillers, as well as dark academia, and books that explore the darker sides of human nature. That is who this book is for. So who is it not for? I would say most other people. I would say people that if you're not interested in horror or the psychological elements of this, then you're not going to enjoy this book. I don't think so. I do not think the quality of prose is good enough to help someone that is going to struggle with this storyline and this theme and this topic get over those things that probably already don't appeal to them. I'd also say this book is not for anyone that wants a much more straightforward narrative and someone that is just not interested in the experimental elements or the thriller elements of this book. I don't have any great suggestions for other thrillers that may not be so intense in terms of the questions of psychosis, the surrealism, and of course, this questioning of reality. I don't know what would be a better book for that, but I certainly don't think that this is going to be for someone that has a problem with any of those elements. But of course, I'd love to know what you guys think about this book. If you enjoyed it, please let me know why you enjoyed it. Also, please let me know what other types of books you read that this was an appealing book for you, just in case you hadn't noticed. I can't say that I loved it. I can't even say that I really liked it. Matter of fact, I'd say I really didn't like this book all that much. I try not to say that about too many books that I review, but I just found this book not just unsettling, I didn't understand its purpose. I finished it and I certainly could pick out some themes. I think that's pretty easy to do, but I didn't feel like that made it worth reading. I can put themes into any metaphor. I can put themes into any story. It doesn't automatically make it worthwhile. So I would certainly love to know what people thought of this book, and I'd certainly love to know if it appealed to you, why. Please let me know so that I have a better understanding why this was such a well-reviewed book this year, or just tell me that I'm some fool that doesn't understand good literature, if you feel that to be the case. Please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and until next time, keep those pages turning.